Welcome into Dolphins Today. I am Will Scott, and on today's show, we're going to be getting into a pretty interesting trade idea that an ESPN analyst proposed. We're going to be breaking that down. I'm going to give my thoughts on if that makes sense for the Dolphins. But first, go down and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to turn on those notifications because you do not want to miss anything. If the Dolphins make a move, if we put out a video, you're going to get a notification on your phone. So stay in the loop. It's the best way to get the best Dolphins coverage on the internet. So go down, turn on those notifications, and subscribe. Let's get into Mike Clay's trade idea. Mike Clay works for ESPN. This is what he drew up. He says this would make sense for both sides. Dolphins receive wide receiver Darius Slayton. Giants receive running back Myles Gaskin. You're talking about two players that have been in NFL trade rumors as of late. A lot of people believe these two players will be traded before the season. The question is when and where. Mike Clay saying that the Dolphins should make a move for Slayton while the Giants would be getting Myles Gaskin. Now, would you do this trade, deal or no deal, Howie Mandel style? Go down and let me know. Type D for deal or type ND for no deal down in the comment section. It's an interesting package that Mike Clay put together. Let me know if you would do it as a Dolphins fan. Go down or type D or ND. My take and my reaction to this is it's a decent deal, but I don't know if it makes sense from the Dolphins' perspective. You are absolutely loaded at the wide receiver position. Yes, you'd be giving up Myles Gaskin, someone who I believe should be traded and will be traded before the start of the season, but the player you'd be getting back is a guy you really don't need. I would rather trade Gaskin for a draft pick potentially or a team need. When I say team need, I'm talking about offensive line. If you can somehow trade Gaskin or maybe Eric Rowe as well for an offensive lineman, I would do that in a heartbeat, even if it's not for a proven offensive lineman. This O-line right now can't get much worse. You need some depth. It's good to go out and get an offensive lineman potentially. But let's go back to Slayton. Here is what he did last season. 339 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 receptions. It was the worst season in his NFL career. Now, when you look at the 2019 season that he had, his rookie year, that exceeded expectations. He was a fifth-round pick. He wasn't really expected to go out and make that big of an impact. 8 touchdowns in his rookie season. Giants fans, NFL fans really excited about him and his potential. Had a decent season in 2020, played all 16 games, 50 receptions, just 3 touchdowns though. And then you look at this past season, there was not as much in terms of production in 13 games. Keep in mind, though, Daniel Jones is his quarterback, so just cut him some slack because he's not in the best position over there in New York. You're going to be in the best position, though, if you go get the performance package from Manscaped. Look, guys, we're trying to look good for the ladies this summer, right? Manscaped is going to take care of you, and if you got bush issues, Manscaped is going to help you out. That's why they're here. So they're going to give you 20% off plus free shipping on the performance package. If you go to manscaped.com and you have to use promo code Dolphins, that's the deal we're giving you on Dolphins Today. That performance package is going to come with the Lawnmower 4.0, which is a Bush's worst nightmare. It's going to come with the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Ear hair is so nasty, man. I can't stand it. That's why I use the Weed Whacker. It's also going to come with men's grooming products like shampoo, conditioner. It's very important you go down, get that deal we're giving you at Manscaped. Look, Kate Bush right now, if you watch Stranger Things, Kate Bush is trending right now, running up the hill. Great song. But the bush you need to be worrying about is your own bush. That's why Manscaped is here to help you out. Manscaped.com, promo code Dolphins. Let's get into what Dan Dugan said about a potential Darius Slayton trade, and Dugan covers the Giants for The Athletic. The team has been shopping fourth-year wide receiver Darius Slayton, according to a source. In some ways, Slayton is a victim of his production in his first 3 seasons. As a 2019 fifth-round pick, Slayton received a proven performance escalator that bumped his 2022 salary from $920,000 to $2.5 million because he played over 35% of the Giants' snaps in his first 3 seasons. Paying Slayton $2.5 million, which, by the way, is about the same salary that Gaskin is going to get, is a luxury for the cap-strapped Giants. The challenge with a trade is other teams can get their own version of Slayton for much cheaper in the draft. Don't be surprised if Slayton doesn't make the final roster if the Giants aren't able to find a trade partner and their cap situation remains tight. Now, because of what Dugan just said, I think it makes sense for the Giants to trade Slayton or another wide receiver. Kadarius Toney, someone else we've talked about here on the show, has also been in trade rumors up in New York. But would it make sense for Miami to trade for a wide receiver? That is the question. You already traded for a superstar wide receiver this offseason, getting Tyreek Hill. You have Jalen Waddle right now as your second wide receiver, and then you have Ced Wilson in the slot. Eric Ezukama is your fourth option. Preston Williams is your fifth option. From there, it's going to be a battle for probably the final and sixth wide receiver spot on the roster. I think Lynn Bowden Jr. is going to be that guy. But when you're talking about the running back situation, yes, the Dolphins should absolutely trade Gaskin. We'll get to him in a little bit later. But when you're talking about Slayton again, I don't know if he is the Giants player that I want. I think it would make more sense to trade for an offensive lineman than it would trade for Slayton. Now, do you want to add another wide receiver? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments section. It's the pinned comment on today's video. When ad break comes, go down and let me know what you think. Do you still think after the moves that the Dolphins have made this offseason that they need to add another wide receiver? Like I said, Slayton is not the Giants player that I want. I do, however, think that they should seriously, and I mean seriously, look into trading for Matt Peart. Matt Peart is a cut or trade candidate. You look at Peart as a player, he's a decent option. I think he might be your best option at right tackle right now if you are the Dolphins. A 63.0 PFF grade last season. Had 231 snaps at left tackle, 175 snaps at right tackle. Now, you might say the 63 grade is not great. Look at how much better it was than Eichenberg and Jackson. I think it would make sense to trade Gaskin for Peart, maybe even straight up. But yes, the Dolphins should trade Myles Gaskin. They can get a more useful player in return. Gaskin's going to ride the bench all year, and I understand depth is important. That's why I wouldn't mind keeping him. However, it makes sense to trade him. He's your fourth-string running back. He can go to New York or maybe even New Orleans and be the second option there. But I'd prefer a player over a pick. And I know I said earlier that I would prefer a draft pick maybe over Slayton. But any other player talking about the Giants, I would prefer them over a draft pick because they can come in right away and help your team. Matt Peart is someone that I would look into trading for. In fact, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Dolphins to maybe trade Gaskin to the Giants for Peart. Now, what is the percent chance that Gaskin gets traded? Go down in the comments section and let me know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. Obviously, after signing Sony Michel, Gaskin has been really the number one player on the Dolphins we've talked about in trade rumors. So go down, let me know if you think Gaskin is going to get traded. And we're going to get into a Bleacher Report article about why they believe that Gaskin is going to get traded if we could pull up Gaskin's player card. And when you're looking at this article that Bleacher Report put out, they said that they basically wrote this article about one move or one player that each team should trade away before the start of the season. For the Dolphins, they said Myles Gaskin because he is buried on this depth chart right now. After the signings of Edmonds, Mostert, and Michel, that's why they believe that they should trade Gaskin away. So you hear ESPN saying this. You hear Bleacher Report saying this. Pretty much everyone is talking about Myles Gaskin in NFL trade rumors. That's why you should subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications, because if Gaskin gets traded, I guarantee you we are going to be the first Dolphins YouTube channel to put out a video. That's why you should go down and subscribe to the channel. Do want to give some shout-outs here. Want to shout out Chris Kirby, who commented hashtag Lucina to Miami the most in our last video. We've talked about the Dolphins signing USFL center Jake Lucina. It appears that not only Dolphins fans want this to happen, but also people up in South Dakota at Augustana University. Coach OJ, the head coach of Augustana, chiming in. Jake is a leader. He is a baller, and he is a winner that belongs in the league. Hashtag Lacina to Miami. James Shrink, the OC at Augustana, says this. I agree. Bring him in. He will make any organization instantly better. Hashtag fight on. And then look at this. CJ Ham, the fullback for producer Patrick Seatman's Minnesota Vikings, also chiming in, responding to my hashtag Lacina to Miami tweet saying, let's go. CJ played at Augustana as well. You know what? I'm going to say this. If Jake Lacina signs with the Miami Dolphins, I will wear Augustana University merch on the show. That is my promise to my friends, my new friends up in South Dakota. If that happens, I will rep Augustana University here on Dolphins Today, and I can't wait because that's going to be a lot of fun.